Hey y'all, hey, welcome to another episode of Coffee and Collaborations. I'm joined this time by, I don't know if we made the announcement on here. I know we did it on the social media on Facebook Live a couple weeks ago, but we now have an addition to the Coffee and Collaborations family with my friend Al Howard, who is also a business owner of Good Steward Apparel. That's the brand that I first know him for. But since that time, because of collaboration, he's expanded to a couple other brands. So I'll just introduce Al Howard, CEO, fashion guru, and designer extraordinaire, and my dear friend, and now one of the co-hosts, one of the significant co-hosts of Coffee and Collaborations. Welcome to Coffee and Collaborations, Al.
Hi, thank you. I'm glad to be here. Glad to be able to talk to you guys and be a part of the show. This amazing show.
Yay! I'm glad to have you. So, like I was saying, Al has a few companies. So, the first one I knew about was Good Steward Apparel, and it's like faith and fashion. What's the hashtag? Faith and fashion or fashion and faith?
When we started off, it was faith and fashion.
Faith and fashion. Okay, so
Mhm.
that's the beginning. But since that time, like I said a minute ago, he's added a couple other brands to his clothing line. So if you could tell everybody a little bit about Good Steward Apparel and then all of the things that you do. So for those who didn't catch the live, they can know who you are, and then also the website.
So yes, when we started out, it was the tagline was faith and fashion. We have narrowed our focus a little bit, and really all of our brands focus on changing the culture. So
Mm-hmm.
that's the tag. That's the newest tagline that's changing the culture. So we have three brands all focused on changing the culture from different aspects of fashion. Good Steward Apparel is all about casual fashion. It is very Christ-centered, Christian-based. And then we have No Robots, which caters to the streetwear. And, it goes about, streetwear and really highlighting the extreme sports, kind of scene. And then
Mm-hmm.
we have Be Athletics Unlimited, which is really about fitness and loungewear. So all of them are really about changing the culture in different ways and, just coming together to do one mission.
Changing the culture. When you
Changing the
when you
culture.
use the word culture, because for some people, just depending on what they're specifically talking about, culture does have a definition. But when you're using the word, what exactly does that mean for you?
So I have seen, kind of for a long time, how we are getting away from like being tribe oriented or community oriented, and is being more about self
Yeah.
and what I can get, what's going to work for me, how much money can I make, all these things. But when we do that, we leave ourselves, we're truly not walking our true purpose.
Right.
Yes, you have to take care of yourself, but when we are tribe oriented, community based, thinking about how can I make someone else's life better, that's when we're really walking in our purpose. So that's a culture that we want to change, and we want to get people back to stewardship.
Yeah. And so if you guys hear his heart, like that is one of the reasons why I thought he would be a great co-host, because that's the same messaging that people get through this show, and we've been working together for a while, since before now, but that we have to work together. We have to get out of our own personal silos. And especially at a time right now, like we need each other more than ever. That
Mm,
person, that introvert who has always done things alone now is reaching out to others, because you don't realize how much you need the next person until you don't have the opportunity to see them. You have to be forced to be
yeah,
isolated from them. And, so to your point, it's a lot that we take for granted until it's
yeah,
stripped from us. And
yeah.
so what do you have any comments on that as far as the culture and what you just said about that for this time with the pandemic happening right now?
I think even before this pandemic, we have seen where a lot of people seem to have it all. You got the
Hmm.
fame, you got the money, you have the monetary things, and you seem to have it all, but we're still unhappy.
Yeah.
So and we can we understand how it feels to give to others. Like when we do something for others, like it gives us purpose. Like we feel happy inside.
Yeah.
So we already know that that is a part of us. And this is just like any other time that we need to do for others. We can't give it into that culture that says that we need to hoard everything.
Yeah.
I might not get anything else, so I need to keep everything for myself. And I think that's where this pandemic kind of pushes people.
Yeah.
I'm out of work. I don't have a job. I need to hoard everything for me and my family. But when we have this community mindset, we can get more done and we can take care of each other.
That's right. That's true. And so, and thinking about that, you were talking about giving back, and that's one of the principles and foundations I think we should all carry with us
Mhm.
through life. Like to your point, not just during this pandemic, prior to it and following it. Like if you've never been a big giver, this is the greatest opportunity to begin. And the thing
Yeah.
is, nobody's asking anybody to give everything away. It's what comes, if you have a thought. I think we're all built with instincts, obviously, right? And you
Yeah.
have a thought like, I want to give to this particular organization or this person or the person that walking by me on the street. But then you might have this second thought that says, but what about me? And so I just want to challenge people to go with that first thought. There's that concept of the 3-second rule. When you don't let your second thought take over the first one and you just do whatever is on your heart to do in that first 3 to 5 seconds, do that and begin to give, in a new way. And from here, you'll see a difference in the quality of your life, the relationships you can build, and all of that. So one of the things that I really love, and we talked about it on the live with Good Steward Apparel and what you all are doing as far as your initiative right now with
Mhm.
inspiring hope. And so can you tell us a little bit about that? Because it's really important. We were having a conversation prior to this, you guys, to prepare for the first podcast that we did together, which I'm acting like I'm not as excited as I am, but I'm really excited because I know I can get real high pitched when I get real excited. So I'm trying to not make the microphone squeal, but I'm really excited. So when we were preparing for this, we were talking about what we were going to talk about for the first podcast episode together. We were talking about how, speaking of culture, fashion leaves such a impact on times like this and even beyond this. And so back to your giving, can you talk to us a little bit about fashion and how it makes a great message and what you all are doing through Good Steward Apparel?
So going through this pandemic, I think if you try to really focus on one of the things I've learned and one of the things God has shown me, if you focus outward and
Mm-hmm.
stop focusing so much inward, it decreases your anxiety like a lot.
Yeah.
In a time where we have so much uncertainty, where you don't know if you're going to be able to make money, if you're going to be able to pay your mortgage, your rent, you don't know if anybody's going to get sick or anything. If you can take that and try to focus outward and use that energy for some good, it's going to make you feel better. And you're
Yeah.
also going to be able to do some good. So we saw that, people are scared and people are in crisis mode. So we felt like this was an opportunity to inspire hope. Because when we have hope, like it motivates us to do so much more.
Yeah.
And you already have these people out here, in the healthcare field that are working. So we wanted to do two things. We wanted to inspire hope, and we also wanted to fill that need in helping the people on the front lines of this pandemic. So,
Right.
we started manufacturing masks that say inspire hope. We have t-shirts and we've even done some bags that we haven't released yet that, have that same message of inspire hope. So think about if somebody's reading that message on a mask, that mask already, it kind of gives you an idea of the current situation that we're in.
Mm-hmm.
It kind of hits you in the face. But that message is also going to tell you to be hopeful.
Yeah.
Even in a pandemic, you can still inspire hope. You can still do good and remind people to pass that message on. And that was the goal.
Yeah.
So through our sales, we've dedicated to use a portion of our sales to manufacture and deliver medical supplies for healthcare facilities that are fighting this pandemic. We also opened it up on our website at goodstewardapparel.com for people if they just want to sponsor. You can sponsor in increments of $5. And, I know a lot of times when we're doing stewardship, we feel like a little bit is like, it's just so little that it can't do any good. But every little bit matters.
That's right.
Like $5 could possibly buy one mask and a face shield. And if you put all that money together with everyone else's and with the revenue that we're putting together, like that can do a whole lot.
Yeah.
And I think we've managed to do a good amount of good, sending medical supplies to local hospitals, and we're still working on it. Like we're preparing to send out the next 2 orders, next week. So
that's so hot. So it's just taking that message of inspire hope, putting it on clothing, mask, all of the items that you have, the bag that's coming, and getting that out to the world. And I remember you saying you guys were working on that prior to this even happening. So when something is not the masks and the whole 9, but the inspire hope messaging. And so that's one of the things that I really love about Good Steward Apparel, why I really started buying and reaching out to you for shirts and t-shirts, blouses and different things like that because of the positive messages. And like to your point, somebody walking down the street having a bad day and they read a shirt, a sweatshirt, a bag or whatever that has some sort of a message that makes them think and get beyond where they are. And I hear people say that all the time, like they'll see a shirt that somebody has on, they'll see a message and they'll be inspired by it. And even if it's not words, colors, materials, patterns, and all of that also helps to brighten people's moods and shift the atmosphere. And so I love how you have taken fashion and been able to use that to spread a message consistently. How many years has it been now?
About 4 years.
Yeah.
It's been about 4 years. We started off with Good Steward Apparel as the parent company. And then we grew into, the other brands, Be Athletics Unlimited and No Robots. And thinking about your story brought me back to when we first, it was in our beginning, our first year.
Uh-huh.
And one of our first shirts, shirt design was Jesus for Everybody.
Yeah.
And I was waiting at a fast food place. I felt like the cashier was ignoring me. I was waiting and she was like ignoring me and I'm still waiting. And I was also in a hurry. And, I felt myself starting to get irritated.
Uh-huh.
While the lady was kind of doing everything else and I was trying to get out of there and I felt myself getting irritated. A lady from someone else, another, person working at the place from the back says, "Hey, I like your shirt." And, I looked down at my shirt and it says Jesus for Everybody. I was like, yeah, this is not a representation of Jesus right now.
Right.
And it made me calm down instantly.
Yeah.
Like I just felt a lot different. And I think that's what clothes can do.
Yeah.
It can be a reminder for you and it can be a reminder for somebody else that looks at it to whatever that message is to, encourage them.
Yeah.
So that's what the goal is.
Yeah. And I wear that shirt a lot. I still have it. It's held up through all the washes and everything. It almost looks like I just got it. Like none of the lettering is faded or anything. But I wear it a lot to conferences, different things that I know I'm going to be around a lot of people, and I want to share that positive message. I might wear it with like a blazer. I've worn it with like tucked in into like a high-waisted skirt. I've just worn it so many different ways. But and every single time somebody compliments me on that shirt, or they might just say, "Yes, he is," or I'm like, "Huh?" Like your shirt. Oh, yes, he is. And so it's like an instant. That's another thing. Like it brings people together, and that's what it's about. Your stewardship can help to bring people together, inspiring a positive message, but also helping to implement and create that culture that you were talking about earlier. And so, yeah, I wear my Jesus is for Everybody shirt all the time.
and a lot of our the items that say things like some of our t-shirts or bags or stuff, we we are very thoughtful in what message that we want to send. Like we want it to be in the current culture that we're in. We want it to be a message that caters to that current culture of something that. So when we first came out with that shirt, and I think I still think now the message still resonates, like you said. Like I felt like we were in a culture where Christians felt like Jesus was just for them. You know, Jesus is not for, you know, maybe somebody who doesn't believe in Jesus. Jesus is just for the Christians, but that's not what he came here for. So it was a reminder that Jesus is for everybody. The people that don't believe in Jesus, the people that believe in Jesus, the people who are not doing well, who are homeless or whatever, Jesus is for everybody. And I think very often as Christians, we think, oh, it's my Jesus. He's just for me. He's not for you. He's just for me. And we kind of use it as a weapon at times. So it was a reminder and also to, you know, get that conversation started that Jesus is for everybody.
Yeah. I love that. And I mean, to me, it's just a reminder of what the representation is. So if Jesus is love and love is for everybody, Jesus is for everybody. So you can break that down into different words, you know, each person can, whatever he represents for you, salvation, love, giving, service, you know, whatever he represents for you, for those who aren't Christians, to your point, you know, some people just can't talk about him being a great prophet. So if you just talk about him being a great prophet or a great leader, whatever that is, it is for everybody. Now, you know, we can go to the religious or spiritual side of it and belief system. And of course, I stick by that. But even beyond that, it's just such a powerful message because you can take that word and the name and make it your own. So it also helps to build relationship for me. And I just love that. I love that. I love how fashion can make an impact in the culture. I love how fashion can inspire stewardship, something we would never think about, how it can inspire love. And like to your point earlier, hope and all of those things. I love it. So that's why I love this guy. One of the reasons why I love Al Howard and what he represents, his whole family life and, you know, his life as a professional, and then being in the healthcare industry and the things that you're doing, you all are doing as a company to continue to help those others in the healthcare industry. It's just amazing. So I want to talk about, we were talking about collaboration too. We were talking about like core things that are necessary in collaboration. So for this collaboration, this new collaboration, for us to work well together, there's a couple things that we're going to have to do. I've had the show by myself, but what I told Al, and I've had a co-host with James Branch, he's still a co-host, but he likes being behind the scenes and he's more my engineering partner. And I did want somebody this entire 2 years. I've wanted somebody to be a co-host with me. I want to be able to use this platform to help more entrepreneurs, to have a stage to get their message out. You know, that it's a lot of good stuff happening and sometimes not as many resources to back up the good. And so if I could do my part to be a resource, I want to do that. So I was talking to Al, we were talking about collaboration and the integrity behind collaboration, the different things that have to come with it for it to be successful. So, I mean, if you just start with us, one thing we have to do is communicate. And I can't be, you know, even though it's my show, I don't want to be like, we're going to do what I say do. Like I told Al, I want him to share some of the ideas and things that he wants to talk about. Maybe some of the live things that he wants to do. And so you'll see, hopefully, I'm hopeful, you'll see all of that some of his personality come through. But one of the things we were talking about, because it just happened, is planning in collaboration and communication. And so just last night, Teddy Riley and Babyface did a live performance. Well, they attempted to. It was like a battle, Teddy Riley versus Babyface. And for those of you who watched it or tried to watch it, I was reading the comments. You got to go back and look out. I was reading the comments. Those comments.
I know. I'm sure they were bad. Yeah.
Say what?
I said, I'm sure they were bad.
Oh, they were funny. Those comments were funny. Like some people were just like, man, I mean, you know, okay, y'all get it together. Let's get these mics right or whatever. And then other people were like, Man, I set this one guy I read, he was like, I set up a date night for this. And he's like, we sitting here on the couch. But you have to go. The comments are always so funny. But anyway, and so I was thinking about that from a working together perspective. Babyface, I hats off to him because he was just sitting there calm, waiting, patient. His sound was great. Nobody's sound is, when it's technology, this sort of a format is very difficult to have perfect sound throughout. Like, it might be really, really great, but perfect is almost impossible. And so he had really great sound. But Teddy Riley's sound, it was echoing, reverb. I mean, it was all over the place. You could barely hear sometimes. So for those of you who watched it, you know what I'm talking about. And so think about that for a second. If you have something that you're going to be doing with someone else and millions potentially of people are going to be watching this, what are some of the things that you think that they could have done potentially, knowing that there's that large percent of something going wrong, to ensure that maybe it didn't? And I don't know if it's on Babyface's side or if it's on Teddy Riley's side or both sides, but I just wanted to, I thought it would be fun. We thought it would be fun to talk about that for a little bit. And so, Al, you want to add your opinion or thought to that?
I think whenever you do a collaboration, the first things you need to talk about is just expectations.
Yeah.
You need to get down to expectations of what each party is going to bring, and also have a goal in mind. So I think the goal in mind of these is to entertain people while we're stuck in the house.
Yeah.
I think, a lot of DJs, a lot of people have done it, a lot of artists have done it, and it's been great.
Yeah.
But I think they didn't have that conversation about expectations. Because, we are social distancing, and Babyface, like you said, Babyface was by himself. And, I've seen all these memes about, Teddy Riley having, people doing videos. He had dancers, and, they go overboard. But they did all these memes just kind of roasting him, like how he had all these people and still couldn't get it right. I think one meme said he was, they had his picture, and it said, this is a picture of somebody who was overly prepared and under prepared at the same time.
Yeah.
I was like, man.
Yeah, they were going in. People with these memes, they jump on them like, I think people are watching it, making memes, But yeah, that's a good point. I mean, expectations, because, even in the beginning, it was kind of like, okay, so what we going to do? So we're going to do it for, okay, you do 2 minutes and then I'll do 2 minutes, or what, how you want to do it. And then when it was all the confusion, it was like, are we going to start over? You want to start over or what? And so it was like, one of the other tips in collaboration, like I mentioned earlier, is just communication. Like, what was the fail safe? Like, there seemed to be no sort of a backup. Like, if something did go wrong, how are we going to be communicating to each other during this? Because everybody's like, somebody call Babyface. Like, somebody tell Teddy Riley that he need to get some of them people out of there. Like, what was the fail safe? And so communication and expectations, definitely. What's another one?
And definitely like expectation. That's like, if you gonna battle somebody, let's say you gonna battle somebody, like, talking about expectation is, okay, we're gonna battle 1-on-1, not me against your whole team. Like, that's like that. I think that would just been a conversation. Like, that's
right. Yeah.
That's not necessarily a battle. Like,
right. And mind you guys, like, I love me some Babyface and I love me some Teddy Riley. Like, Babyface was, I think, end of the 80s when I first heard about him. And then Teddy Riley he took over the 90s. Like, everybody's songs. And I didn't realize some of the songs that they had produced or written or whatever. So it was kind of cool to whenever they're going to redo it, I know that they're going to have a great following once again. But like, expectations and communication are key to any collaboration. Just means working together. Yeah. Plain and simple. It means working together. You have your piece of the puzzle. I have my piece of the puzzle. We bring those pieces together for a successful collaboration. It's generally a little bit different from cooperation because you're generally working together in the same vein. Like cooperation, I might be helping Al, you know, and working with him on his vision. So it's a little bit different. I love both, but collaboration is the thing that really, to me, helps change legacy and communities and different things like that. But it definitely would have changed that show, that
Yeah.
that show, what, I guess the live. But I just, you know, that's a great real world example. And then like you said, like he had his one self, and you know, he did just overcome COVID, so probably nobody wanted to be around him, because you know, people are all nervous. If you had it, it's like, oh, do you still have the residual or whatever? But so
Yeah.
he just Babyface just overcame COVID-19 and came out on the other side victoriously. But Teddy Riley did have a whole team. So, you know, what was that conversation like? You know, are we bringing microphones, or is this gonna be a show? Because it seemed like he was set up for a show, and Babyface was set up for like making sure the production. It seemed like he was more in production mode, while like music production mode, while Teddy Riley was in performance mode. So even being on the same page, you know, from a vision perspective, back to your point of expectations, is key to collaboration.
And I think you can also, you know, whenever you go into a collaboration, you also have to ensure that you maintain the integrity of your brand.
Yeah.
So, you know, having that conversation before that, okay, we are doing this because we're entertaining people during social distancing.
Uh-huh.
Maintaining your integrity is not having a whole bunch of people there. You know, we still need to make sure that we are, you know, being an example of social distancing. Like that's the whole reason we're doing it. So it was kind of it can be a contradictory message.
Yeah. Yeah. And, you know, I want to pick up on that, Al, because you talk about social distancing and people really getting and understanding that through your posts on social media. And so I know it's kind of a frustration for you, like when you see certain things like that, or maybe frustration might not be the best word, maybe concern. When you see people like that who are, maybe it's a organization, or even just girlfriends doing something, or just whatever,
Going for a walk.
Going for a walk. Yeah, like just understanding the social distancing and what that means. So, like, so for you, is it because you're in the health field that it's like such a point for you? And what does it mean for you as a result of people not following the rules?
So it's that I'm in the healthcare field. It's also the personal impact to me. And I see so many other people in the healthcare field. So I have 4 kids. So when I would normally go to work and I would come home and my kids would scream my name, "Daddy, Daddy," and it would just, you know, after a rough day, it would just bring so much excitement, and it would just, you know, it just makes you feel up inside with so much love. And people, you know, for your kids to be excited about seeing you.
Yeah.
And now, you know, when I come home, it's like, hold up, don't touch me. You know, I gotta put all this stuff down. My wife is trying to spray me with Lysol. You know, I have to go take a shower. I gotta wash my hair. You know, do all these things before I can give my family a hug and a kiss.
Yeah.
So, and I'm ready to get this over with as soon as possible.
Yeah.
And not to, you know, and that may seem like a kind of a selfish thing, but you think about, these are what people in the medical field, and not just people in the medical field, these are what people, cashiers, these are what people go through on the front lines of this probably every day. And this is like, it's crazy how we're going through this, because we can't be on the same page for really anything. I joke with people sometimes, with people who do a lot of conspiracy theories. Like I like messing with people that do conspiracy theories. Like you can barely get people in a group in a room to agree on something, and this is one of those things that you have to get everybody to be in agreement that we're going to stay away from each other. And it really shows how much we are not community minded.
Yeah.
Like we do. Sometimes people don't want to sacrifice anything.
Yeah.
You don't want to sacrifice, you know, some of these, being around people or, going outside or doing these things, we don't want to sacrifice these things when, there are people, we're putting people's lives in danger.
Yeah.
Like
And I
we're
mean,
literally put people's lives in danger.
and so this is another reason why it's a great time for us to work together, like to really think about the next person. So you may not get sick, but what about the person that you're coming into contact with, like you were talking about your children? Now, one of the things that I always talk about is faith. Like I have faith that God is going to see us through whatever, but I also have sense. And I also want to follow laws and rules and things like that. And so, looking statistically and following trends and all of that across the world of the effects of doing one behavior versus another. I read that they just opened back up the Florida beaches, and so
Yes.
how is that? Say again.
Yes, and it was packed
And it
in
was
a few
packed.
hours, in an hour probably.
Right. It was like somebody broke the chain, and everybody, like when you're trying to get to the bank, when it's
Yes.
first opening, because your check is got to get cashed. Back in the day, I remember those days being at the bank like
Yes.
first thing. But it was like that, like the bank is open, let's run. But we are used to, especially in America, the home of the free. We are used to freedom. We're not used to having restrictions and things like that. And so one of the things that we need to understand, back to your point, is that we have to be thoughtful and focus on others more so than ourselves. So look beyond the selfish. I want to go to the beach. I love going to the beach. Like I love spontaneous trips where we get up and go to the beach. Spring break, Sophie and I would have been at the beach 2 weeks ago, but
Mm-hmm.
the beach was closed. I couldn't go to the beach. We could go for walks and, it's a couple other things that we could do, but definitely when this time is past, I'll be at the beach. So I think it's just, it's just significant for us to really think about others. Back to your earlier point, just think about others beyond ourselves, and really take this time to think of like how you can live your life a little selflessly, all of us, and be able to help the next person, because we can all get through this. And then so when the next thing happens, we can learn from this and grow from there,
Yeah. And
Yeah.
and we all connected. Even if you have like a selfish mindset, like the more we are not, social distancing, the longer it's going to take
Yeah.
for this to linger and for us to go through this. Like we're all connected. And this is a perfect example that shows how connected we are. Like your actions and the things that we do on a daily basis, they do affect other people.
Yeah, they do. And so what if we take that into our businesses? I mean, back to collaboration. What if we take that into our businesses, into our relationships with our spouses, children, family members, whatever? What if we take that into our lives? Then this is totally different world. And it sounds so big sometimes to people.
Yeah.
When you talk about stuff like that, hope sounds big. Anything that's like not negative sounds big to people and
Yeah.
impossible, but it's so possible. And so what I want to show with coffee and collaborations, I brought Al on because I want to show. So a lot of times people think when you're in business, when you have a podcast, when you're doing all these different things, it's because you want a platform for people to hear you, and for people to for you to be able to use your platform to share everything that you have going on in your life, which it is an opportunity. But for me, I've always used my platform to try to uplift someone else. And I want to continue to do that. Al is the same way. And so I think about how many more entrepreneurs, how many more subjects can we tackle? How much more can we talk about and be able to inspire if there's more than one person? Me, because I can't do everything alone. Like I absolutely cannot. Even though I try my best to do a lot, I can't. So I'm thinking about, so just think about this for a second. I want you all to write into the show. You can go to info@coffeeandcollaborations.com. That's info@coffeeandcollaborations.com. You could also go to the Coffee and Collaborations Facebook page. You can follow the Coffee and Collaborations Media YouTube channel. We're also on Twitter and Instagram. wherever we are, you can send us a message of things that you want to hear about. On my personal page, I've been talking about finance, credit repair, these SBA loans, anything around saving, trading, stocks, all of that stuff around the financial arena. What should I do in a pandemic? What should I do after a pandemic? What should I do personally in my finances to win, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that information, I want to convert that and transfer it to the Coffee and Collaborations podcast. So we'll have more financial advisors. We'll have some marketing specialists. So tell us what you think. Like, what do you want to hear about when it comes to your business, your organization, your community? Who do you want to hear from? Tell us. And so we can use our resources to reach out to others. And it's not just a North Carolina thing, although we're centered in North Carolina. I have resources across the globe. And when I say across the globe, I mean it. It's not specific to North Carolina. This show actually has reached as far as Africa. James knows all the other countries. I believe he said Hungary. I don't know, a whole bunch of places, countries and continents. And so we are looking to be a voice for the voiceless, but then also to spread a light, continue to spread a light. And people have things that you want to hear about. So let us know. info@coffeeandcollaborations.com or any of the other platforms. Make sure if you don't have a mask, or even if you do have a mask and you want to be able to give one to someone else, or you want to be able to give one to someone else, go to goodstewardapparel.com and you can either give a donation of $5 or more. You can buy a mask that says Inspire Hope or has hope on it. What is it, $16, Al?
Yes.
For those masks, it's $16, and there are pictures and things if you follow his website and his page at Good Steward Apparel. So I want you guys to be excited for what's to come. It's a time where we're isolated, but we are able to do things like move forward and create great connections that from here on, I'm looking forward to following the track to see what is going to happen as a result of even greater and more collaboration. Anything you want to say, Al, before we close out?
Yes, just, we opened it up because, as people start to open up, the government and other facilities, they're also, saying that everyone needs to wear a mask. So we also opened it up to, for people to be able to buy more masks at one time. So we have deals for like a 5-pack, a 3-pack, and a 10-pack, to make it a little cheaper, make it a little better, but still be able to be responsible and protect yourself.
Nice.
And the goal is to do some good, to really have that tribe mentality. One of the things of, we talked about how people think a little bit can't do a lot. Stewardship, I realized stewardship has been in my blood for a long time. My grandmother, we came from very humble beginnings, but she would cook for people. She would make, for holidays.
Hey, Grandma.
She would, do all these things. And while we couldn't give a lot, that did a lot for people.
Yeah.
Even if they were not hungry, it's something about good food that just warms you inside, especially when it's made with love and heart.
Yes.
While I'm not the cook my grandmother was, I can do, I can spread a message of hope, and I can open it up for other people to feel good when they make a purchase, when they're wearing something that they are instantly giving back to someone else. So I think all of us have a duty to be a good steward.
Yes, we do. I second that. I second. So you guys go out, be a good steward, shine your light, because somebody is actually waiting for you to shine so that they feel that they'll have permission to do the exact same. So go out, be a steward, and shine. Make sure to come back for the next episode of Coffee and Collaborations. Follow us, coffeeandcollaborations.com. You can find all of our past radio shows and podcast episodes there and find out a little bit more about Coffee and Collaborations. We'll be updating the page, of course, with our announcement of adding Al Howard. But follow us on social media where we stay a little bit more current and up to date with the hot new information. Guys, I am so excited once again, and I'm going to give a round of applause and a congratulatory welcome to my friend Al Howard. Have a great rest of your day.
All right. Thank you. Bye.
Bye, guys.